Hey folks, Frank the Pest Geek here. I'm going to show you why it's really not a great idea here in South Florida to do quarterly services on residential or commercial properties. Too many things can go wrong that you don't have control over, that nobody is telling either the owner of the home or the management about, and things happen in 3 month period of time that will totally destroy your garden. We're going to take a look at a couple of things. Now this property, to give you some history, we've been doing this property. It's a commercial property. We've been doing it for 15 years. We've had this account. And just recently they had a major problem and nobody called us, nobody informed us, but I'm going to show you why it happened. Check this out. These are the cocoa plum hedges. These things they just got trimmed right now, but they're pristine. This is just damage from the shredder, but for the most part, the leaves on a quarterly basis, there is very little Lac Lobate scale. There's some here. Let me show you what a Lac Lobate scale looks like. That's what it looks like in my hand. Let me see if I can get that's about as good as I'm going to get without going into a macro lens. It sticks to the branches. It has very little. We only got 2 on that branch, but you know, it's being maintained, and it has, you know, a couple of trees that have grown in between that need to be removed. Things like this that grow in between that just needs to badly be removed. For the most part, it's doing very well. But then we get to the lawn part, and look how hideous this looks. And this is from drought stress. The reason it has drought stress is cars will park here like that for 8 hours a day, will damage part of that, but also the irrigation is off. So when we go over to the irrigation, check this out. Weeds have grown in. I mean, in 3 months' time, you're in the middle of summer. And this is ridiculous. I've never seen this way before. This part right here, we never treat because it is behind the building. This is a commercial, like I said, a commercial warehouse. But they like to keep their landscape nice. Unfortunately, this is not seen by customers when they come on this area. But now you go over to the timer. The timer was left open, which isn't a good idea. And then we look at how much time is on the zone. Well, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Basically, we don't know if this thing went bad. We don't know if they intentionally put it to 0. They turned it off. It's left on auto run. If somebody wanted to shut it off, they would have just left it there and turned it off. The fact that nobody knew about it, nobody said anything, and now the lawn is damaged, is of a huge concern for us, because, you know, if somebody would have called us and said, hey, listen, something ain't right, the lawn isn't looking right. But this is a commercial place. Everybody's busy. Nobody has time. The landscapers are here every 2 weeks. You know, why didn't they see this? You know, they're doing the work. We come every 3 months. And, you know, we come every 3 months here, and we don't know what's happening. And this is why, unless you have a crew of professional landscapers that know exactly what is happening, and they come to a property every 2 weeks and they see something wrong and they let you know about it, chemical, guys, doesn't make up for malpractice, for errors made by irrigation, errors made by landscaping, you know, Mother Nature. Pest control and fertilizing and weed control and disease control is reactionary. On most cases, we really can't prevent a whole lot from happening, especially when it's environmental stress. So we can't stress it enough that if you hire a pest control company like ours or any pest control company, and your irrigation isn't spot on, your landscaping isn't spot on, the cultural care isn't spot on, the planting of those plants isn't spot on, chemical only does what chemical does. It's like going to a doctor and saying, I went to the doctor and I have a doctor and I'm never going to get sick. When you have a problem, it is the doctor's job to prescribe the right medication. That's what we do as pest control professionals. When we see a problem, we prescribe the right medication. we prescribe the right fungicide, we prescribe the right herbicide, we prescribe the right insecticide. If there's a deficiency, in a mineral deficiency, we provide the micronutrients. If there's a macro deficiency, we provide the macronutrients, fertilizers. We're reacting to what everybody else is doing, and this is the biggest problem, where people say, well, I bought a quarterly service, I don't want to see a single problem. The only way that a company can guarantee that you don't have a problem is if they're there on a frequent basis, monitoring, inspecting. And who wants to pay for monitoring and inspecting? Well, that's really what you pay for. You pay for a professional that knows what he's looking at, knows what the problems are, and is able then to prescribe the right medication in time. If you wait too long, there's nothing we can do. This completely has to be resodded now. There's nothing that can be done to save it at this time. So, you know, when you hire a company for your landscaping, for your pest control, you need to decide the level of service that landscape is going to need, and then hire based upon that, not based upon, well, we can only afford so much every 3 months because everybody's doing a quarterly service. That is not a premium service. A quarterly service in lawn care in South Florida is basically the cheapest and least. You know, it's like the difference between wanting a 59-cent hamburger and a you know, a $7 or $8 or $9 hamburger. There's a big difference in the quality of the attention you get, and the only way you can do it is by having boots on the ground, people inspecting, people monitoring, people knowing what they're looking at in order, and to tell you what needs to be fixed. If your landscaper is doing a bad job, it is my job to tell you, listen, he's not sharpening his blade, he's mowing it too low, he's waiting too long. If your irrigation isn't working, for us to adjust it or recommend a you know, an irrigation contractor that can fix it for you. This is what having a true professional on site means. Hey, this is Frank the Pest Geek, wishing you a pestacular day.